Officials and coaches, welcome to the week 6 training tape. We've got 10 plays to look at from this past week's games. So let's get started. This first one has to do with rules knowledge and understanding what happens when a player touches the pylon. So let's get this one rolling. You can see here we've got a completed pass, runner going to the pylon. And so here's what we need to know. If the very first thing the player touches is the pylon's out of bounds, the extension of the goal line. So if the first thing he touches is the pylon, the play is dead at that very instant. So between this frame and the next frame, he kicks the pylon. And at that point, the ball's dead. We get the goal line is extended because he touched the pylon before he touched anything out of bounds. So we take a still shot, we freeze everything, we take a still shot, and we need to know where the ball is in goal line and the goal line extended, and that determines whether we have a touchdown or not. So if he would have this ball extended well out in front of his body in his right arm, way out of bounds, but he's got it past the goal line extended, at that point when he touched the pylon, we would have a touchdown. In this case, the official ruled that the ball was not out in front of his body enough to have broken the goal line or the goal line extended, and therefore he was out of bounds at the half-yard line. And, that's a judgment we got to make. So, but we just got to make sure we understand that rule. Let's go back real quick and take a look at the side view just so we can get the okay, this is excellent. This is exactly what we want to do. We've talked about this. Watch our deep official here. As he's going to the pylon, he is going back, and he gets set at the pylon, and he's back at that restraining line. We've talked about being all the way back. We're 4 yards off the goal line there, and right on the goal line extended. He's in the perfect spot to make that judgment. So, we got to go with the rules knowledge was good in understanding that as well. So excellent work. Okay, so this one, again, this is some outstanding work by our deep officials here. Catch, no catch, and then we got a bow after the play, and he bows right at his opponent, which we know that's always going to be a UNS foul when we bow at our opponent. And initially I was like, why is this not a catch? Because you can see he definitely gets his foot down there, and it looks like he controls the ball, and I wasn't sure. But then if you look here, our official does a great job of going down and hitting the ground, saying that ball hit the ground and he did not possess it all the way through the catch. So let's take a look at this one. Again, really, really good position. Here's what we're talking about at being that back restraining line. So this black would be, typically the white, and he's in the middle between this and that back restraining line, and that's perfect position. And we want to make sure we always look at feet then ball. So right now we need to see this. Okay, so make sure we're looking feet ball, always feet then ball. So we got the feet down, and then we go to the ball. We know he's going to the ground. He's got to survive it all the way through. So what this official saw is right about at this point, right about there, that ball was not in possession and on the ground and moving, and that's what he had. When he rolls over a little further, it looks like he's got possession. So really good, judgment on that. He sells the call really well, and it's just after this he goes down and he taps the ground. You could also give the bobble signal in this case, showing they didn't have firm control. Either one, he's showing that the ball hit the ground. Bobble kind of shows the same thing, but we definitely want to, sell that, not only that it's not a catch, but why. So very, very good job by our deep wing. Next one, oh man, bad. I got to go back and talk about the bow. About the bow. So let's take a look at the bow. So we get up here, and right at our opponent, we bow. that's a UNS every single time. That's taunting. Now, if our opponent would not be there, if that defender would not be there, he made that catch, the defender's not there, and he does a quick bow, we will be okay with that. Probably talk to the player, but anytime you do any type of celebration directed at your opponent like this, automatic UNS. So good job. And ironically, sorry about that. Ironically, we we've got an incomplete pass and now a UNS. So yeah, they had 1st and 10, and now they're going to be going to 2nd and 25 after that UNS. So talk to your players about not doing those celebrations because if they end up with the UNS, one way or another, it's going to get flagged and it's going to cost you 15 yards somewhere. So catch no catch, and just releasing the ball is not a UNS. So in this case, he doesn't spike it, doesn't throw it way up in the air. He just kind of throws it down at the ground. But again, let's look at our official here. Just excellent job of just pivots and is looking right down there to see that we've got that foot come down in bounds, possesses it the whole, control the whole way. Nice, slow, patient signals touchdown. And that's the, he doesn't spike this and that ball goes 10 feet up in the air. If he spikes and the ball goes above his head, we probably got a foul. In this case, he kind of throws it down to the ground a little bit. We don't want to nitpick that. So spontaneous, we're not going to call that good judgment on that play. I think this is our same play here, different angle. Yep, let's take a look. So again, one thing we don't want is we don't want to pivot so far that we get in the way of our line of scrimmage official. We really want our line of scrimmage official to have 1 foot here, 1 foot here, straddling this line, and we want our deep wing doing exactly what we're doing right here, and that's staying off of this line. We don't want you blocking this because we want him to have a look as well, because it is something we could piece together if we have to. But you can see there a really nice job of seeing that foot down, and he definitely does maintain possession the whole time through. So great work on that play. Next, we've got targeting with the crown of the helmet. It's a good call for targeting picked up by our umpire. Not sure if we had another flag on that or not. Let's go back and slow this down a little bit. You can see we definitely, so remember, that's exactly what we're looking at right there is do they see what they're hitting? So if their eyes are down, or if their eyes are looking at the turf or looking at the grass, then that means their eyes aren't up. That means their head down. That means that they have the crown that's exposed. And in this case, definitely targets this runner. So, we would have this guy is a runner. He's not down yet, so we could only have targeting with the crown of the helmet. We would not have targeting the defensive player. So we need to know when we could have which foul. But in this case, we're only going to have targeting with the crown of the helmet. So only 913, 914 is the defensive player, and that is not an option. This player is not definitely down. So good pickup by our umpire. I'm not sure if we had a second flag in there or not. A little extra. This is the problem with. Oh, darn it! Sorry, hold on. Let me move that back. This is the problem with these plays in that it incites a lot of roughness. So we've got this player who gets targeted, and now we've got his teammates coming to his defense, and luckily we do a good job of separating players, and it looks like we prevented anything extracurricular happening. Let's see what we get on this view. Not sure if this view is going to help us out or not. Yeah, we really can't see what's happening there. We can definitely see that he hits him in the head and neck area, but again, he's not a defensive player at this point because he was not down at that time. Looks like that might be our only flag, but good job of separating these players. Okay, KCI. So remember, let's just run it through and then we can talk about it. So we've got a pop-up. We have pop-up or a pooch kick. So remember, B has the has to be able to make an attempt to catch this ball without being interfered with. And on this one, we do have a B player in position that he could make an attempt at that catch. It really doesn't even matter so much is or is not. He's in position to make that catch, and we have a team A player who catches that ball, touches that ball. So that's going to be KCI. Remember, this is going to be enforced, from that spot of the foul. So we're going to be enforcing that from the 44, 43 yard line, somewhere right in there. And what's going to be Team B's ball. Okay, so just make sure we understand that rule. But good job by the crew. We actually had offside on the kicking team as well on this play. So we had a foul. You can see the flag coming in there by our back judge. I think we got a flag for KCI. Not 100% sure on that part. But we would have both fouls. And then obviously we can only enforce one of those two live ball fouls. And they're going to take the KCI because they're going to get the ball. All right. Just to make sure we understand this, if there's no A player in position to attempt to make a catch, then if there's no team B player in position to make that catch, then team A could legally catch that ball. We know it's going to be dead when they possess it. They can't advance it, but they could legally put it. They could legally possess it. Next play, we've got, this is an interesting one. So definitions, it all comes down to rules, knowledge, and definitions. So we've got a player numbered 50 through 79. His hands are below his knees, and he's on the line of scrimmage. So he is, by definition, a restricted lineman. When we think about a restricted lineman, normally we think about a player who is restricted, a lineman who's restricted because, he's somebody else is on the line outside of him. So like this player here is restricted because number 4 is on the line of scrimmage. So this is a restricted lineman. We don't often think about a restricted lineman being on the end of the line of scrimmage. But in this case, he is, because also part of the definition of a restricted lineman is anybody 50 through 79 who has their hands below their knees is by definition restricted lineman. And we know when a restricted lineman moves, we've got a false start. So this would be a false start. Confirm this with multiple people. This is correct. This would be a false start. There's no way with his hands below his knees that this lineman could do this. If he was, say he was standing up, kind of like a standing tight end type of thing, and he's number 50, then he could, but we can never do what he does, which is you can't come from the line of scrimmage and go in motion. Okay, so let's say that he is standing up, so he's number 50. He's standing up like a stand-up tight end. To go in motion legally, he would have to step back, step back and establish himself as a back and get set for a second. Then he could turn and go in motion. All right, so just make sure that we understand that as officials and make sure we're teaching our players that as well. Number 71 it was, but it doesn't matter. So that would be a foul. Again, if he didn't have his hands below his knees and wanted to do this legally, he would have to step back, stop for a second, then he could go motion and go on the other side of the line of scrimmage. Okay. All right, forward progress communication. This really is just, who has the spot. And so the problem we have here is this runner is going down right now, and we've got 2 officials who are a yard and a half off. So one has his foot down short, one has him at first down. Comment is we need to clean this up. So here's the issue really. If you are this line judge, unless the ball's coming down and only you can see it and he can't, it's his call. Okay, so if it's his call, then you mirror his call. You don't take your own spot. All right. So if this is his call, because the ball's not totally facing you, because obviously the ball's on his side of the field, by far. So if this is going to be the H's call, then you just keep going downfield and you mirror his spot. So as a crew, you need to make sure you talk about that. We need to make sure we get that cleaned up. Next play we've got, so, we had one where a guy did a bow, UNS. We had one where a guy just kind of threw the ball down to the ground but didn't spike it. No UNS. In this case, we got a pretty good toss of the football up in the air. So he's pretty excited. That's all great. But I'm going to go in slow motion now because it'll end the clip. This ball is going way up in the air. That's a foul. Okay. So dead ball, UNS, they get the ball, got the interception, but we're going to back them up 15. Okay, this one comment is when the ball carrier clearly gives himself up and advancing the ball out of bounds, he cannot be punished. This is a pretty easy call. We get 2 flags on it, which is great. So we've got our runner who's definitely given himself up, and this guy takes him out. Okay, good job. Flag by both of it would be our short wing and our deep wing. So let's take a look at this angle here. Skip down to here. So he's clearly giving himself up. Foot in the white. And then he gets hit. So good job. That's one we got to get. Late tackle out of bounds. Back on 15. All right, so this is a really good play because we've got to make sure as officials we're ready, and if they're in a hurry up, we need to hurry up too. So in this case, we just, we're getting the ball, tossing the ball up, but then we got to make sure that we see that they're getting ready to snap it. So we're just a little slow in getting in our position, getting ready. This team comes down. Definitely are not all down before this lineman. I'll go back. This left tackle is definitely still going down and is not even, I don't even think he's down for that ball snap. So remember, this is going to be a shift that converts to a false start. So we call this a false start of a second kind, right? So this is an illegal shift which converts to a false start because they don't have 11 guys down, 11 guys set before the ball snapped. But one part of the comment is when they're going fast, we need to go fast, especially on the line of scrimmage. You guys are responsible for seeing these guys here. We're backing out as a deep wing. If I'm where we are in this spot when they snap it, I'm definitely not going to shut this down and say I'm not ready because I can officiate from here, but we can't officiate here when we're not looking. So hopefully we got that as a false start of the second kind. Is that it? That is it. All right, so we're under 20 minutes. A lot of good job, a lot of good plays this week. We got to be great dead ball officials. We got to continue to officiate players at the end of the play to see if they, if they do spike it or if they spin it or if they bow at their opponent or whatever. Those are ones we got to get. Hopefully the players will play a little smarter, make it a little easier for us. But keep working hard. Safe travels, have great games, and we'll talk to you again next week.